Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Poker's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. We say the things on here that nobody dare say. Right. I've had something sent to me from a gentleman. I'm not going to say his name. I'm just going to read it out. This is not my wording. This is from someone that sent me this in. I'm going to give him his moment, but I'm not going to say his name because he hasn't put a name. It's just an email, and he hasn't signed off on it. So I don't know if this is somebody just wanting me to put something out, but I've read it and I agree with everything here. So this is not my wording. All right, but the gentleman that sent it in here is obviously very passionate. So get ready. Here we go. It's called Saudi Rant. Now, I hope you're all sat down and you're ready for this. All right. Here we go. Jay Opatia versus Marius Bradis 2 on February the 17th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So they strip Jay Opatia and now say he is the #1 mandatory for his own belt. He just relinquished. Words escape me. Something tells me that Fury versus Usyk won't take place and that Jay Opatia and Bradis is the backup plan, just in case. Just on the whole Saudi thing, when I see the way His Excellency is carrying on, it reminds me of the days of Julius Caesar, picking and choosing which slaves he wants to pit together in a fight to the death. He's doing the same thing with the sport of boxing. All I see with His Excellency is a spoilt rich kid that sees non-Muslims as extremely corruptible. I bet he is laughing so hard to himself as he uses the greed of Hearn and Warren to manipulate boxing for his own fantasy matches. And to then hear Warren today at the press conference heap praise on His Excellency for finally making the fights that the public want to see was the last straw for me. The reality, as you know, is that Hearn and Warren could have given us all these fights years ago, but it was their greed holding the sport of boxing back. Now His Excellency caters to their greed, and the public gets these fights way too late. I can imagine Hearn and Warren having a secret pact to hold out from anything until the Saudis came up with a certain dollar figure. Sadly, Hearn and Warren think they have won, when the sad reality is they let a rich man with a tea towel wrapped round his head play them like puppets on a string. I remember Jay Opataya being interviewed during last fight build-up, and he said that he was at a dinner with His Excellency and all these other boxers. His Excellency was saying to Jay Opataya, I want you to fight him and him and him one day. And Jay was like licking his lips and basically saying, show me the money and I'll fight anyone. Finally, the other day, okay, you mentioned how Hearn thinks he's the Pied Piper running marathons with Puppy Parsons and co. chasing him, etc., etc. Sadly, I'd say it's more accurate that Hearn thinks he's Rocky Balboa running through the streets of Philly with fans trying to keep up with him. And I bet you that if there was any set of stairs at the end of that run, Hearn would have sprinted to the top and waved his arms in the air like Rocky. That's a good email, that. I see where you're coming from, and I think you're on the same wavelength as me. These fights, right, that they're giving us, they're just run-of-the-mill normal fights that we should be getting anyway in the UK. There's nothing on these shows that Eddie and Frank Warren have not put out have not matched in years previous, is there really? You know, they're trying to put this cruiserweight fight in here, Brady's and OPT. We've had all that before, haven't we? We've had Bellew and Usyk, other fights like that. They're just normal run-of-the-mill fights, but because we've been starved of action that long by these two promoters, we're all chomping at the bit because we're getting, something that we should be getting. So, but we're getting it in Saudi. We're not getting it in the UK. We're getting it in Saudi. And we all remember that these two promoters here, they can't stand each other. For years, they've been telling tales on each other. So Taxman, Inland Revenue, VAT. Also, I don't know about the police, but I won't put it past them. They've tried to just about do everything they can, these two, to outdo each other. They remind me of it's a bit like Ali and Fraser, isn't it? Going into Thriller and Manila. That's these two, isn't it? These two promoters here, Bricktop and Eddie Hills, the 6-0 Iceman. Now we've got Bricktop coming out saying he was a big puncher back in his day on pads and that. Look, they're all getting a little bit carried away with themselves, aren't they? Right? They're just giving us run-of-the-mill fights. That's all it is. Run-of-the-mill fights. Just like you get in Vegas or anywhere else. It's just that they're getting a bit more money and it's in Saudi Arabia. It's all good for them, isn't it? But what about boxing in the UK? What about boxing fans? Where are the big shows? Are we all going to pay £3,500 a ticket to go over there? Eh? Do they think that the man in the street can afford to go there and take his lad to boxing? No, he can't. These people don't care for boxing. They care for lining the pockets. And when all this money's gone from Saudis, they'll just go back to getting at it in UK and messing us all about. It just makes them stronger, doesn't it? Well, what it does, it kills the sport in the meantime. That's my opinion. But you're not allowed to say that because they say you've got green-eyed monster if you say that. Or you're jelly and bitter and twisted. Oh, Russell, you don't get access. Look, I never really wanted access anyway. I can't chase up and down country like some of these young lads do. I'm 55-year-old next year. I don't want to do that. I have other things in my life. I can do enough boxing content from the UK. Pretty simple. I only need a microphone and a computer, and I'm all right. I'm happy. So there's no jealousy there. I want great fights. When Carl Froch went on that run, I went and had something to eat with him up at Ellaby. It was my birthday and I was 41 on that particular day. And we sat there, he was sat there with his sea bass and his broccoli. And I said to him, I said, why have you been on this run of fights? And he said, well, I'm going to set a precedent by having all these hard fights. And he would encamp them for Ward. This is October 19th, 2011. He fought Ward, didn't he, not long after that. He says, I'm in camp for Ward and I want to set a precedent so that other people follow me and show that, yeah, you can have the good fights. Why waste a camp fighting knockovers? Have a good camp and fight a great fight. And he wanted to set that stall out. But who has followed Carl Froch on a run like he had and fighting killer after killer after killer? Who? They're only getting to half of that, aren't they? They're not going the full length and they're losing the belts halfway through or they're going down other avenues and having easy fights. It's just not happened, has it? Could you say Tyson Fury's runs like Carl Froch's or Joshua's? No, you couldn't. Stop, start, and having easy ones and two easy ones and three easy ones. Look at Joshua, Franklin, Elenius, right? Walling, now on Garno. Fury, look at the run he's had. Fury's had 10 fights since he came back. 10. How many roadman killers would you say is on that? Hey? It's become embarrassing now, isn't it? Become embarrassing. That's just my opinion. I just wanted to get it out there. No, just stop me having an opinion. All right. So, do I still think that Tyson Fury Usyk happens? You know my opinion on that fight, don't you? Once they said Riyadh season ends on this date in March and they give Fury that Feb 17th date, right? Once they said that, you want to go look at the size of Fury's belly, right, and know that he's not ready. It's just logic, in it. It's just a simple question. He's not going to put his cent in ring if he's not ready. He's already a millionaire. He's not going to take a risk. So that's just how I look at it. And they know that. They paid lip services to us with that December 23rd show for Fury were going to fight on it. And they paid lip service with Feb 17th one. That's just my opinion. If they fight, I'll be shocked. They will fight, but I think you'll be shocked if it's next month. That's just my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it. If I'm wrong, hey ho. We all get things wrong, don't we? Okie dokie. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. No, pop, pop, bang. One, peace out.